Hey guys, this is Undercoverdudes all the way from Down Under, and today I'm going to be talking about why did we go and give up on CA? Why do more and more people just quit CA day by day by day? Now, I know I've been beating this dead horse for quite a while, but I think at this moment in time, it's very pivotal. I go and look back on the many years I've been playing this game and look where Nexon went wrong. Right now, CA is not extremely popular. There's less than 100,000 people playing on a relatively regular basis, and that is very low in comparison to what it was many years ago. Back in 2012, the game was at its highest peak. The player base was insane. Channels were full every single day. Even when I hopped on, which is very late for Americans, the channels were full as well. Nexon was making tons of profit, content patches were really in-depth, we were getting new maps, new modes, new guns on a very regular basis. But then everything just started to go downhill, just steadily downhill. Now if you talk to anybody that played in the olden days and you say, what's the difference between CA in 2010, 2012 to 2015, everybody say there's massive differences. You've got new maps, you've got new modes, you've got new guns and all that. But that's positive. Those are the good things about Combat Arms. Nexon was absolutely fantastic at adding content that a lot of people wanted to play. They had some absolute failures of maps, absolute failures of modes. Look at Season Secure. That's like the least played mode ever. Nobody plays it anymore, and there's a ton of maps nobody touches as well. But the really big highlights was the ones that shined, like the addition of Fireteam. Addition to Fireteam and addition to Quarantine Region, two massive modes, and that made the game just so much better. And the addition of some really good maps like Oil Rig. Once Oil Rig came out, the game just flourished even more. So Nexon knew how to go and get people coming back to their game. Even with the many issues I'm going to be talking about, they made it so people kept coming back to the game. Oh, look at this shiny new map, and they liked it and they continued playing, and we kind of overlooked the issues. In my opinion, the downfall of Combat Arms comes down to two things. I'm going to be talking about the more obvious one first, and that is simply the greed of Nexon. Now, in the 2012 era, the game was relatively balanced. You had a few NX weapons that were kind of out there, like the M416 CQB was, for example, that was one of the best weapons in the game. You had a couple of rares and stuff like that, but overall it was relatively hard to go and pick up weapons. Really good weapons that was going to go and absolutely stomp people by simply paying money. But Nexon thought, okay, there's so much demand for these weapons, how about we just bit by bit go and introduce these weapons so people go and buy them. And I remember there was a very significant portion of this game where Nexon kept releasing sniper rifles that had just slightly better stats. It started with the L115A3, which was the first weapon to be better than the L96A1 Arctic Wolf, which was at that time the best sniper in the game. Then they released the TPG, then they released the TRG, then they released the WA2000, and all these guns were very similar, but just completely outclassing their GP counterparts, and people bought them simply because at that time the L96A1 was the best sniper in the game. But then you've got all these better guns, and it's like, alright, I just want this slight advantage over the opposition, and so we had one-hit kill guns with 90 accuracy, and that ruined basically sniper only for quite a long time, until you could go and get NX to go and compete with these people. And this type of mentality of, okay, people are going to be buying NX for guns that are better in GP, that continued in many ways. Most significantly was Specialist, very significant, with the super OP Specialist, Recon Vest, with the element of speed being so important in Combat Arms. And then you had guns like the P90TR, which were unrivaled to any of the GP counterparts. Then you look at the assault rifles as well, like the AK-74M and the M416 CQB that continue to get better and better. They did nerf it, but it's still better than the GP version for quite a long time. And Nexon just went with this, okay, people are going to be buying these weapons. And the game became less of, okay, who's better? It's more of, okay, who's got the most money in their pockets. And Nexon at this time was like, okay, this is really good because people are still playing our game, the GP players are still playing our game, and we're making more money. Thumbs up, double thumbs up for them. But the longevity of the game in the overall environment, overall feel of the game was declining at this point. People just bought NX to go and keep up. It was a game that wasn't necessarily it was free to play, but it was pay to win, and this has been the motto for quite a long time. So Nexon just ran with it for quite a long time, and until very recently did their idea of this pay to win go and change. This was when Nexon revitalized the rental shop so you could go and rent NX standard weapons for one day. That's absolutely insane if you were a player in 2012. Nexon doing that would have literally exploded the CA forums. Legitimately would have exploded the CA forums. They would have shut down if this happened, because that type of mentality never existed where GP players were on the same plane as NX players. So the fact they did it in, relatively recently is absolutely fantastic, but it leads me on to the second point of why CA is on this down stretch. It's because Nexon implemented all these fixes at the wrong time. It's really, really depressing when you think about it. In 2012, when the game was in its quote-unquote golden age, it was hacker infested, and it was at its point NX, NX was dominating. And then it continued to get worse and worse. 2013 got worse and worse. 2014 got worse and worse. And at the very tail end of 2014, Nexon was like, alright, we're going to really hamper down. And they put that new NX change in. The hackers are gone. The lag is relatively gone. And they put in all these fixes into the game, but it was just too late. They lost too much of their player base at such a pivotal time that these issues, these fixes and all that, they were fixed too late. They were fixed 2 years late. If Nexon did what they're doing now, I would say 2 years ago, CA would be the most popular free-to-play first-person shooter out there by far. No exception, Sia would be the most popular and the most played, and I would continue to be playing it to this day. But why don't you play Combat Arms anymore, UCD, if you really enjoy the game now? And I do enjoy the game now. It's simply the reason why CA was so popular was the sense of community. The community in Combat Arms was by far one of the strongest I'd ever seen in any online gaming community. So many of my friends played it, and I met so many people online. I was in many clans, and I met some really good friends that I still talk to today that are halfway across the world that I've never seen in real life, but I still talk to them regularly because of Combat Arms. People don't play it anymore. There's no active player base. My friends don't play it anymore, and that means I don't play it anymore. The reason why we played CA and got through, the relatively bad issues was because we were with other people and we really did enjoy it. But now, even though the game is fixed, even though the game is very playable, people are just not coming back to it. People have just given up because they've endured, and they've just been waiting for the fix to come. The fix came after they quit, and it's a really sad ending because CA is a fantastic game, and I say it's one of the best free-to-play first-person shooters, but it's not to a newcomer, and you need people to play with. If you don't have people to play with, then the game just isn't interesting, and that's something that other games don't have. You can play other games with other people, but it just doesn't have the appeal that Combat Arms had. More specifically, Clan Wars. Doing Clan Wars with Motivation, which was one of my very first clans. I believe Guns N' Roses was my very first in 2010, and there was some other ones as well around there. Then I went to Zoom X for a while, but the whole clan war element made the game just so much more vibrant, but the player base is just not there anymore, and it's really sad in the end. Now, Nexon learns from what they have done with CA. They know how to make a good game, but do they know how to go and sustain a game? I think they know how, and Dirty Bomb, fingers crossed, even though they're simply publishing it, I think Splash Damage and Dirty Bomb are going to go a very big way, and it's feeling like what Combat Arms was back in 2010 and whatever, when I started playing. The game was good, the community was, ramping up. There was 100,000 keys sent out from the closed beta alone for Dirty Bomb, which is more than the CA player base. And so I have hopes for this game because I want it to be what CA hoped to be, but never got there. So that's my 10-minute long commentary. Hopefully you guys went and enjoyed it and just kind of understood where I'm coming from. The reason I'm not making videos anymore, to be perfectly blatant, is because there's no people watching the videos anymore. My channel's been going less and less views simply because people don't want to see Combat Arms videos anymore. And I'm trying to go and break into something different. The people that want to see Combat Arms videos, they want to be seeing Combat Arms videos for a month or so, but then they'll go and quit. And then, oh look, that's another one of my viewers gone. And look, there's another one of my viewers gone. And oh look, I got 40,000 subscribers, but I'm barely cracking 10k views in the top 5 plays episode. That's where I'm coming from. And that's the reason why, personally, I don't go and play it anymore along with the people, along with my friends and all that. So, that got really dark at the end. But you guys understand where I'm coming from. That's the reason why I'm branching. I've said it before. There we go. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this commentary. If you did, make sure to go and give it a like rating. But other than that, it's Undercover Dudes all the way from Down Under. Out.